I think the hour has arrived, so we'll call the Town of Somerville Planning Commission for May 18th, 2026 into order. First order of business, the approval of minutes from our last meeting on April 20th. Is there any additions, corrections, changes that need to be made to those? Hearing none, we'll approve those as distributed. Second order of business, public hearings. First is a proposed amendment to the Somerville Unified Development Ordinance, UDO, Chapter 3, Section 3.6, temporary uses.
I do not have anyone signed up for public hearing on that one or any of the others.
Okay. And we'll close that and move on to a petition by Anthony Thomas Melfi Jr. to annex TMS number 15303030002 located on Pointer Drive, totaling approximately 0.44 acres. Request to Okay, this is an annexation and a rezoning. It's currently zoned R2 single family residential in Dorchester County. And it'll be brought in as a GR5 general residential 5 units per acre upon annexation in the town of Somerville's municipal limits, Council District 3. Is a petitioner here?
I don't believe so. And I did just want to briefly explain because I believe there's been some confusion from the neighborhood of Quail Harbor. This is just for this property right here. So it is the property behind the dentist office, between the existing home, and they are looking for the same or the equivalent zoning in the town that already has in the county. The only reason they have to request annexation is because of sewer service, because they're served by Somerville CPW. So.
Okay, well, do you have anyone signed up to talk?
I do not have anyone signed up.
All right, then we'll close that and move to the next. You can give information. No.
Ma'am, I put it out about 3:40 and I took it up at 4 o'clock because that's when the meeting starts. Again, all they're asking for is a single family home and the single family detached zoning district. And it is not any different than it has in Dorchester County currently. The only reason they have to request annexation is because of sewer service.
Okay.
Yeah. The zoning they are requesting in the town is GR5, which is equivalent to the R2 zoning, which it already has in the county. It's the closest equivalent zoning that we have in the town to the county's R2 zoning. They are not allowed to do anything differently in the town than they would be allowed to do in the county currently.
Next. Next, we have a petition by Anthony Thomas Melfi Jr. to annex TMS number 13615070009 located at 228 Wilson Drive, totaling approximately 0.49 acres. It is currently zoned R2 in Dorchester County and will be zoned GR5 general residential upon annexation into the town of Somerville's municipal limits, Council District 1.
Again, I do not have anybody signed up, and this is basically the same equivalent situation.
Same.
Mhm.
All right, then we'll close that and move on to a request to rezone TMS number 136-1203-015, located at 102 Pinewood Drive, totaling approximately 0.57 acres, owned by Easy Carolina Home Buyers LLC, from GR5 General Residential, 5 units per acre, to Neighborhood Business in Council District 1. Is that petitioner present? Would you like to tell us what,
Appreciate the opportunity. So my name is Matthew Kunkelman. I am the owner of Easy Carolina Home Buyers, and we own 102 Pinewood Drive. We are requesting rezoning from GR5 to neighborhood business. The intent is to allow a low intensity neighborhood scale business while keeping the existing structure and minimizing site disturbance. We believe this is an appropriate request because the property is located near Central Avenue corridor, where there's already a mix of residential and commercial activity. Our goal is not to create a high impact use or pursue an intensive commercial redevelopment, but rather an adaptive reuse of the structure that is already there. 916 square feet, 2 beds, 1 bath. It's a very small property. This would be a very limited use, like a small office, neighborhood business type use. Essentially, that's what we're looking to do.
okay, thank you.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Do not have anyone signed up.
All right, then we'll close that public hearing. And I think,
That is all the public hearings we have for today.
okay, and our next is old business. The consideration of an updated development impact fee study and capital improvements plan and revised impact fee ordinance. This was postponed from our last meeting. Hope everyone's had a chance to go over the information provided.
Did y'all want me to briefly address the comments from the last meeting?
If you would, please.
Sure. So we did review the cost per square foot for particularly for the parks facilities. Looked at 3 different recent facilities that are either under construction or in planning for in the region. And when you get the average cost of those 3 facilities, it was $624 per square foot. So the 630 we felt was a reasonable cost to use. In terms of, I know that the cost per square mile or cost per mile for trails was also mentioned in the last meeting. Looking at the Sawmill Trail extension that the county has proposed, it looks like the actual cost per mile of that one is close to 2 million, not 1 million. So 1 million is pretty reasonable, particularly in this area because of issues dealing with wetlands and that sort of thing that we have to deal with a lot of the trails that are done. And then in terms of the fee categories, I did provide you with the chart. Sure if it got put in here, but the chart to show where the categories would go in the new simplified 4 categories, and explaining that if there wasn't something that clearly fit into one of those categories, we would revert back to our use categories in the UDO. So the example of the karate studio would fall under like our art studio, which falls under the office use, office and service use, not the general commercial use. I think those were the main items that were brought up at the last meeting. So unless you'll have any other additional questions, Carson is here if there are any other additional questions. But again, what we would need was a motion for the resolution to move it forward to council.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Is there a motion? What are we gonna do with it, folks?
The same concerns. I have the same concerns and I appreciate y'all, sending these quotes. We've got a brand new office that was just built for like $310 a foot, so I don't know if we're trying to hit a number on the end and we're kind of backing in, but we need more commercial and I am concerned that we're gonna hit that group really hard on an impact fee, but I appreciate you doing the research and getting those 3 examples.
And again, the commercial does not pay the parks fee.
Right,
That
But it's
is not
tripling.
included in the commercial fees.
right. I did see that, but that one is tripling from what we have now. And I know that the office it did drop down, so that's good. It's gonna be trying to get more commercial in the area is.
Yeah, and I will say generally what we've been told, as long as they know what to expect to pay at the beginning, then they're okay. So clearly we already have impact fees. Again, some of them are actually going down, others are going up slightly. Folks know that they're gonna have to pay impact fees for most places in this region.
Mhm.
And we do need this approved because our budget, certain things are based off of impact fees. And so we need to have this set prior to the budget being approved, which has to be approved. May 26th is when first, we need to have this either have this moved to council. So we would have to schedule another meeting if this doesn't get approved today. Prior to that.
Okay. I'm going to pass the gavel to our vice chair and ask to be recognized.
What am I recognizing?
Me.
Oh, recognize chair.
All right. The CIP is required to come before this body by state law. This is probably one of the first times that we've dealt with the CIP and the impact fee study together. To me, it's fairly transparent. So because of that, I'm going to enter a motion for the record that we approve the impact fee study and a CIP and send it on to town council. Second.
Motion and a second. All in favor, say aye. Aye. All opposed? Motion passes. That's the gavel back.
Thank you, sir. All right, the next item under old business is a petition by Glenn Siegelman to annex Dorchester County TMS number 13700000003, approximately 62.27 acres located along Parsons Road, and a request to zone.
Yeah,
That-
again, if we can combine 2 and 3 again, like we did last
Right.
month. Yes, sir. And that they are both requesting that PUD zoning as one single PUD.
Okay, so we have a petition to annex and rezone and petition to rezone the current property that's in the town.
Correct. Let me get to that map so that's clearer. Hold on just a second. So this kind of shows, so the portion in purple is what would be annexed and zoned PUD, and then the portion in pink is what would be rezoned to the PUD. But same document, same PUD document for both.
Both of these
Believe
be
that-
rezoned to a planned unit development.
Correct. And I believe the applicant is here to address some of the concerns from last month as well.
And you all have received new information. Is there a motion?
Do we want to hear from the applicant?
Well, if we put a motion on the table, we can discuss it.
Okay. Make a motion to approve.
Have a motion to approve. Is there a second?
Yeah, I'll second it.
Have a motion and a second. Now, you commissioners, if you have discussion, do you have questions for the applicant or?
Yeah, the applicant, we had several questions from the last meeting. Yes, sir. Can you provide any update or new information for what was presented last time?
Yep, appreciate the opportunity to come out and present again. We listened to what you guys had to say. And we put together an exhibit for you to take a look at. One of the two major items that came out of it, one was addressing staff comments. So there were 9 comments that came out of staff. All of those items have been addressed. One of them is the TIA. So the TIA is now at DOT for their approval, but last meeting we didn't have the TIA in hand. So that's in process now. The other 8 items have been addressed. The second major was the site plan. So that we wanted more detail to have an understanding and tell the story. Hey, what are you trying to do here? So we put together this exhibit for you. We brought in Chris Campo here. He's going to walk you through that.
All right, thank you, Scott. Chris Campo, I live right here in town. Just want to provide some clarity on what this document is allowing us to do. It allows us to mix these uses. That's what a PUD is for. And this that I handed out to you, this demonstrates the type of neighborhood that we're trying to build. Scott's trying to build. And we also have the sequence here as well, the property owners. So Scott is the applicant for the homes. The commercial properties are going to be retained by the COPs. Those uses have not been determined yet, or those final uses. But this is the type of neighborhood you want to build. This is, I believe it's Brighton Park in Neston. And you can see the kind of some different housing types. They're fronted on parks. We have parks that are going to be throughout this neighborhood. But so you're going to have residential. You're also going to have commercial. This picture in the center is Ion in Mount Pleasant, which has retail, food, some commercial spaces, and that's what this is on the bottom right. So this is the inspiration for this neighborhood. Is a neighborhood where people can come home or even work from home, but when they're done with their day, they can walk down the street and go to the dentist or go get something to eat. Do a little shopping. That's the goal, is a walkable neighborhood, street trees, various housing types, and commercial mixed in. Now, if you go, just to make sure we're clear, I provided these vicinity maps. It shows you where the property is. And then the next vicinity map shows a conceptual site plan overlaid on the property. We can speak from this one, which is the enlarged plan. So there were some questions about, a couple of folks said, well, I don't really know what I'm approving here. This shows what the lots could look like. It shows what the grid system or the street system would look like. The way PUDs are written, it's a zoning approval. So the plan will change a little bit, but what won't change is you're going to have commercial on both ends. I think it was 2 to almost 6 acres. And then you'll have residential in the center. Okay. We've got open space. Like I said, parks are within walking distance of every home. We're showing how the drainage is working with the pond system you see in blue. Working through the traffic comments with DOT. And then, so this picture, and the pictures on the front, is what this document enables us to do. I'm happy to jump into the details of that, but just to get it started on the first couple of pages, and we can go into more details if you like. But it's around 66 acres of residential, around 5.9 acres of neighborhood commercial. And we've identified the maximum density you can have. At most, there's going to be 350 homes on this property, and there's going to be at least 2 acres of commercial, right? So if we didn't address it in this PUD, it's going to revert back to neighborhood mixed use zoning. And that's typically, we work with staff to ensure that, to ensure compliance. There were some questions to my right about, well, are you putting in some of these uses underneath here that I have on the first page, this page? We're giving the Siegelkin family the opportunity to put in what is allowed within the zoning and what the market would encourage it to be. That's why we wrote those specifically. We've addressed other development criteria, and we've put in place architectural standards, hardy plank or better on the buildings. We talked about the open space specifically on how that would be built. Almost double. Yeah, almost double the amount of open space. We talked street trees. We're going to have street trees. We talked about the size, where they would occur. The land is currently a timber farm and horse stables. So we've said the timber farm, he can continue to timber like he has been doing for decades. And we've talked about a couple things are important to the town is who's maintaining the street trees, the developers doing that. We've talked about, again, where the stormwater is going, where the buffers are going to be, all that's in the PUD documents. Before we close, if you had any questions on specifics, we're happy to get into those and address it as best we can.
Anybody have questions?
I see that you have single family and townhomes listed. Are apartments part of this plan at all?
No.
Oh.
No, ma'am.
Is the amenity area included in open space or neighborhood commercial, or is it separate?
We have that. Let's see if it's on the bigger plan. It's on this plan. You see it right here. So it would be within that open space, yep, of the residential.
Okay.
Any other questions? Any discussion? Thank you.
All right, thank you.
Okay, we have a motion on the floor and a second to approve it. All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Those opposed? The ayes have it. New business,
I do not have any street names.
no street. Okay, we have the proposed amendments to the Somerville Unified Development Ordinance. Chapter 3, Section 3.6, temporary uses. Those were all provided in your packets. Is there a motion?
Make a motion to approve.
Have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye. Those opposed? The ayes have it. All right. Petition by Anthony Thomas Melfi Jr. to annex TMS number 15303030002, located on Pointer Drive, totaling approximately 0.44 acres. And rezoning said parcel from R2, single family residential in Dorchester County, to GR5 general residential upon annexation into the town of Somerville's municipal limits, Council District 3. Is there a motion? To approve? And there's a second. Have a motion and a second. Is any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Those opposed?
No, sir. The public hearing was at the beginning of the meeting. And as it was explained, it's just that single lot between the dentist office and the existing home. And all they want to do is do a single family residence.
Concern is the entrance and exit from the dentist across the street, across the entrance. So I'll 5 minutes late, I apologize. So, how much I can do. Okay. Next we have a petition by Anthony Thomas Melfi Jr. to annex TMS number 136-1507-009. We did vote on that last one, did we not?
Yes, y'all voted.
I'm sorry, Jeff. I'm having trouble hearing today for some reason.
Y'all voted, yes, sir.
Okay, so this is located at 228 Wilson Drive, totaling approximately 0.49 acres. It's currently zoned R2, single family. Will be zoned GR5, 5 units per acre upon annexation into Council District 1. Do I have a motion? Have a motion to approve. Is there a second? And a second. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Those opposed? The ayes have it. Have a request to rezone TMS number 136-1203-015, located at 102 Pinewood Drive, totaling approximately 0.57 acres and owned by Easy Carolina Home Buyers LLC from GR5 General Residential to Neighborhood Business in Council District 1. Do I have a motion?
Make a motion to deny.
I have a motion to deny. Is there a second? Hearing no second, the motion fails. Is there any further? Okay. It'll go to council with no recommendation. Have miscellaneous, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn. Motion to adjourn. Is there a second? All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye.